Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It's Saturday evening and I'm at Patrick's this evening, as you can see. I don't quite know how I'm going to upload this video because I've left my laptop at home, but there you go. Tonight I wanted to reply to, I think it was Angela that messaged me about using cash. I obviously have not said this before, if people are still wondering. I basically walk about with cash most of the time. I pay my utility bills through the bank, but as and when I pay them. I pay my mortgage through the bank. That has to be done. I don't think banks let you pay your mortgage in cash. But everything else that I can is paid by cash. My shopping is paid by cash. Petrol is paid by cash, anything like that. And the reason I started doing that, this was a few years ago when I was down visiting Patrick in London, when he stayed there. And we went to go and park up to go for breakfast at a cafe, as we had done quite a few times over the last years. And I went to go and get the parking ticket because that was just what I did. He got the stuff out of the car, I went and got the parking ticket. And you couldn't pay cash anymore, you had to pay by card. And for some reason I took umbrage at that. I was not impressed at the thought that my bank, and now Hammersmith and Fulham Council, knew that I was there. That irked me. So, of course, once that thought got into my head, then I was like, I don't want them. Why should that not? So I do not have a smart meter for my electricity because I don't think so. Now, I know I've got Alexa. That's fine. I use that as a timer, etc. That is it's just one of those things. I'm quite happy with Alexa, well, not happy, but I'll deal with it just now. But cash wise, yes, I do want to put money into the local economy, and I do, just not in my local village, because my local village is a tourist trap. The prices are ridiculous, and I absolutely could not afford to shop there on a weekly basis. It's not feasible at all. However, there are a lot of people in that area can shop there. It's a great retirement place. A lot of people from down south have sold up their house for 3-4 times the price of the equivalent they can buy something up here. So there's a lot of people come to the area to retire, to join the golf clubs, to do the walks, etc. So it's actually quite an expensive place to live. Even the petrol in the local area is more expensive than the petrol in the city further up that's more deprived. That's how ridiculous this is, that national companies know that they can charge more in my area. So what I do is I take my cash out and I go to the supermarkets. I go to the local butchers. Actually, the reason I went to the cash and carry today is that the boy that lived across the road from us is now the butcher there. So I'm supporting his job when I am spending money in Booker. So yeah, I do absolutely spend cash. And in the last year or so, there's been a lot of people saying, the Great Reset, you will own nothing and be happy and everything will be digital. Believe you me, they will be taking me kicking and screaming before I turn digital. There will be no chips going in my arm. But also, I think part of the reason that we're noticing this now is things like the wee shop that was at the end of Patrick's Road in London. It had 10 staff before. All of a sudden they got a couple of self-checkouts. Now there's 6 staff. They've lost 4 staff because they don't need the checkouts manned. The slightly bigger Sainsbury's, now this is not a big Sainsbury's, but it maybe had about 8 or 10 checkouts. They started with, I think, 3 self-checkouts, and the last time I was down there just before Patrick moved up here, they had 10 self-checkouts. And you were lucky if you could get 1 member of staff on checkout. And where I noticed that was when, if you see back the videos when I busted my wrist, I went away one morning to go to Tesco's without Patrick. He was sleeping. I'm like, I'll go and do my silly shopping first thing in the morning. I went in, you can't do self-scan before 8 o'clock. There's no checkout operators before 8 o'clock. So for me trying to self-scan what I had bought, I'd have been as well not going shopping. I had to reduce the shop so much that it was pointless. So yes, I do use cash. I use cash to try and keep people in a job. I use cash because I don't want companies taking direct debits out of my account that I have not authorised. I use cash to try and sustain the local economy as best I can. And also, I have to say, it actually saves me money. Because whereas before I could do an online shop every week, I don't do that now. I get the basics and then I will maybe get one online shopping just to top up on the fresh stuff after I've done my cash shop on payday area. So yeah, cash. I do use that. Apart from just now, I have spent so much money online, it's ridiculous, because one thing I cannot get in this area is canning jars. Oh my goodness. So I've had to order all of them online. The pressure canner, I had to order it online. There are certain things that, you know, I'm in rural Perthshire. I cannot get this stuff. Even simple things like canning jars, I can't get it. Trying to get jam jars a month ago when I made my jam, couldn't find them anywhere. I think the range had 4 left, that was it. So yeah, it's a bit of a thing, but I just thought I would get it out there and go, yeah, actually, I use cash as much as possible. One part for just not having the bank knowing everything I spend my money on, and the rest is just, it actually does save me a lot of money because I don't just do online shops. And it gets, what I do is I take out so much cash that I've only got very little left in the bank. And there's been some times when I've looked and gone, oh, I could get, oh no, I don't have enough money in the bank. And by the time I get paid again, when I've got money in the bank, I don't want it anymore. I've managed to change what I needed or do something differently, so I don't need it. So yeah, I just thought I would get that out there because tonight's video was going to be my reply to your emails. Thank you so much for the emails. Thank you for the comments and the subscribers. I mean, the feedback I'm getting is phenomenal. Thank you so much. But I was going to answer the emails tonight, but as I say, I've left my laptop at home, so now I just need to go and work out how to get this loaded on YouTube. So apologies if it gets a bit squinty, but we'll see what we can do. But I will go now. Have a good Saturday night, and I'll catch you later. Yay.